What's going on, people? I'm King and welcome to the King's Monologue. So, I posted my reconstruction of King Tutankhamun on TikTok and I broke TikTok. I really wasn't expecting to, but I broke. Okay, I didn't literally break TikTok, but essentially it garnered a lot of interest. I think at the time of recording this video, I think I'm just shy of 1.5 million views. It managed to get 1 million views in 24 hours. Which was just so unexpected. I'd imagine it's probably one of the most viewed reconstructions of King Tutankhamun in recent time. So that's quite exciting. I wasn't really expecting that level of engagement, but this subject is one of those subjects that gets people really passionate. People are either really passionate in support of my reconstruction. I think at the time of recording now, I've got about 260,000 likes. So, or maybe nearing 300,000. So about a 1 in 5 like ratio, which is really quite strong. So it shows that there's a hunger for something different than what the general public are being fed at the moment. But also there was a lot of criticism, and obviously we know that the critics are always the people who are going to be the most vocal, especially in a controversial topic like this. So there are a lot of people who really feel passionately against these reconstructions, and that shocked me because I didn't feel like when I posted there was an agenda. I just wanted to essentially to share something that was going to honor the artwork that the ancient Egyptians had left us. Now I'm going to show you the video at the end, so please do stay tuned, but I just want to kind of share some thoughts before we get there. In terms of sharing the reconstruction, my motive was actually really quite simple. I just wanted to kind of get out there and show people a different version than the one that's being peddled essentially by Hollywood and then by modern kind of Eurocentric theory to kind of really move ancient Egypt away from its Nilotic origins, i.e. its origins along the Nile Valley, being a Nile Valley civilization, and attempting to sell it as this Mediterranean civilization, which it wasn't. Did it trade with the Mediterranean? Absolutely, but it wasn't a Mediterranean civilization. And I think more than anything, I wanted to be consistent with the artwork. So I made that very clear in the video. This isn't something that's come from my imagination. This isn't me attempting to, quote unquote, steal Egyptian history. That's a phrase that I heard a lot.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
This is me saying, actually, no, it's quite ignorant of us as historians, as anthropologists, to ignore the artworks, because this is something that's never been done in history. Never in history have we basically said the artworks are of no value. All that's of value are their remains, and we can reconstruct their look from their remains. It's totally ridiculous. This is not a consistent argument. When it comes to the ancient Egyptians, because there's a certain degree of Africanicity in their artwork, particularly with King Tut's 400 portraits, they all portray him to be this very consistent copper brown skinned young African boy. But when you've got things like his mannequin, they would have used the color of his skin that his actual skin is. They wanted to come as close as possible because it's a mannequin. He wants to see how things are going to look. So we have to think that the mannequin, the only motive for that skin color would have been that's what his skin color is. And it's consistent also with the way he's been painted on his golden throne, and actually many of his ushabtis show him in this kind of dark brown / kind of copper color, and that's a color that is actually very consistent, particularly in the south of Egypt. In Aswan, you can see people who have that exact tonality. In the northern Sudan, you can see people with that exact tonality. The Afar people of Ethiopia, all of these Nile Valley civilizations, you see this phenotype, you see this coloring, and you see it is very, very consistent. So it isn't something that we have to kind of have some level degree of mystery. Who were these copper colored, red, dark browny people? No, they're everywhere. They're all along the Nile Valley. And in denying the existence of their phenotype and then basically just saying the ancient Egyptians were all the more paler skinned Arabs to the north, who's stealing whose history? Race can change in 2 generations, from white to black. It takes 2 generations for that to occur. A black man can have a mixed race child, and a mixed race child can have a white child. That happens in 2 generations. Does that make the white child less related to his black grandparent than it does to his white grandparent? Absolutely not. Race is very irrelevant. We are trying to make an modern construct, which is race, which was invented in the 18th century. We're trying to back apply that into history, and it doesn't apply. Let's forget our agendas and let's just say we want these people to appear the way that they depicted themselves. Let's not rob the ancient Egyptians of that. So I felt I've kind of done that, and I'm really happy with the results. Like I said, I was shocked with the amount of input, and I was shocked with the amount of passion that it raised, but also I was pleasantly shocked because obviously, you know, I've essentially gone viral by posting this reconstruction, and I think my reconstruction has managed to garner more attention than I think any Egyptian reconstruction managed to garner in such a short expanse of time. So in that regard, it's really quite exciting. And like I said in the previous video, this is only version 1 of my reconstructions. I think I'm going to be happy and open to take feedback to improve it, but it shows that the appetite is there and it shows that the interest is there. So obviously I'm going to keep doing these, and I think that's kind of it in terms of what I'm going to present to you today. Please do subscribe to the channel, like if you enjoy the content and if you enjoy the information that I'm sharing, and obviously if you want to support me, help me to eventually go full-time doing this, then please click onto the Patreon and I would really appreciate the support. That's it from King's Monologue. Have a fantastic day and I'll see you soon.